Just going to check if everything is running as it should be. Just give me a second and we start. So today is a quite, I would say, important day because all right, I can make a live session today. Hi Dean, no problem, no problem. Right, so today I think is a day which we've been waiting for almost 2 weeks. Right, so what's going on? Right, let's start a dollar index. Right, we can see that the price has finally dropped lower into our levels. Right. Let me take it to the 4 hours because it's most clean chart, right? In here we can see we have this daily order block, this level, right? So price went a little bit deeper inside of it, right? Now how we know that the price will, that this level will be holding or not, right? We always need to check in the midpoint of that level, which I have measured in here, right? So we have this last down candle, but as a midpoint I have been measuring this whole down candle, right? And I simply place a fib and it gives me this line, this with this line, right? So it's a midpoint of this candle, right? It's an order block. So we can see that the price is being rejected in here, right? Let's go to 4 hours and to see what's going on, right? We can see slight rejection on the 1 hour, still kind of ranging, right? However, if we look at it in the 1 hour, we can see that the price has been delivered in here, been ranging for 2 hours, right, and then dropped sharply and been rejected, right? So we need to go again lower time frame to find what is going on, right? And for me, this looks I'm sorry, for me this looks like a creation of a order block in change or of the change in order flow on the lower time frame, right? So I think we could go higher, right? Why also? Because it's also in the confluence with this. Uh, what is it here, right? Look at the time. We have, we trading the CLS. This is the Central European time. So between 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock, it's when the settlement is completed, right? That's when they're gonna start to do the the movements, right? Before they've been preparing for that for few hours, right? Now look, that could be those hours where they could be doing it, right? So let's check other pairs and we will find that it's happening in the confluence, right? So euro also on the level, right? Let me show you, right? So in here we had this weekly range, then we had the Monday range, Tuesday. Good morning, my friends. Hello Sam, hello Adrian, hello Mohsen, right? So we can see in here um, the price didn't take that liquidity, right? But today it's happening, right? And where did we go? We went exactly, if you remember, our uh, transition candle, right? So you can see that the price went exactly above that liquidity, right? And look what we can see in here, right? Also, you can specify this candle as a CLS candle. It is wider candle than these ones, right? It is digging into the liquidity. It is between 61.8 and 0.8 fib, right, for the model 2 on this higher time frame, right? Also, it is right now the next 4 hours candle is actually taking its highs, right, and it's back inside that range, right? And it's happening in the specific time. It's also happening in this order block, right? Why is this order block important? Because it has taken these highs, right? Now you might be thinking, okay, but it didn't take this high, right? But look, you need to also check what day was in here, right? You can see it was a Monday, right? So basically here the new week has started. Tuesday created the new highs, right? And then price started to drop, right? So right now at this moment it could be a situation where this is occurring, right? Let's go lower time frame, let's go 15-minute, right? And we can see that in this yellow 4 hour CLS range we can see a manipulation, right, into the key level, right, and then price closing below these candles, right? So in my opinion, it's a reversal on the M15, right? Now you might be thinking, why putting this, creating order block like this, right? On the M15, it could be on the close or also close below here, right? You can see it happens on the both. When you are not sure what you can do, you can put it into the middle of this wick, right? Or to go lower time frame, right? If you go lower time frame, you can see it's quite close. All these consecutive candles on the M5, right? You see it would be here, right? So on the M5, it's also confirming that it could be a order block, which is happening on the level in the premium prices, in the FIP, in the key level above the CLS ranges, right? So I have entered a few minutes ago before I started the stream in here, right? Because I have quite confidence that we will see that what we've been waiting for uh, since the price has been in here, right? So we've been waiting all this swing up, right, to take a short down, right? So now how you can enter? Obviously, the best time to enter is like in the next 30 minutes, right? Because still the high could be created in here before that drops lower. However, I don't think it's going to happen, right? So entering here, right, with some quite tighter stop, right, targeting this CLS range low, right? This can be also a little bit resistant, right? Then we have this daily range, right? Then we have daily range low, right? And then this low, right? Looks like it's quite brave trade, right? With the 6RR. However, I think if there is a lot of patience, it can play, right? So I'm in such a position right now. This is a pound. Pound was quite ugly, right? So you can see that it basically created a new high, right? I'm going to skip the pound, right? I had some idea in here which didn't play it, as I explained in the previous streams, where we had this a lot of consolidations and closing above, right? Hello Nero, hello bro, look, we will look to the gold. But currently I've decided to skip it, right? Because here is actually what I have put into my journal, right, about a pound. Was thinking like, what if the range is playing like this, right? And we can see right now we are in here, right? So whether I had the opinion for the short in here, there was also possibility to create a scenario for the long, right? And my rule is that if you can create the scenarios for the both, don't trade it, right? You need to be really one-sided. You really need to have clear bias for the one side, right? Now here is a USD franc, which also someone noted yesterday, right? And I think it has came into the level, right? So we had the consolidation in here, then the slight manipulation into this order block, right? And then expansion. Now the price is on exactly on this last down candle, right? Below a transition candle, right? On the 1 hour, what's happening? M15, right? You can see this is clearly changing the order flow, right? We seeing the force up, right? We seeing the gap, right? When there is a gap, it's an imbalance. What that means? That means that big players are trading, right? And it's happening again, quite good time. The low, that could be a low of the week, right? Let me show you something else. If you remember the weekly profiles, right, that could be this profile, right? Midweek reversal, you have the Monday range, Tuesday going lower, right, and then Wednesday taking the low and reversal, right? So that could be our profile that could be playing, right? So we have actually another thing which is which could give us a more confidence in what's playing out, right? Here is a USD JPY, right? Same thing, right? So we've been waiting for the price to make a pullback below transition candle, right? Below this weekly CLS range. Let's go 4 hours, right? And now look what's happening in here. So we have this weekly CLS range. Then we had this, here was actually the Monday range, right? It was quite tight. So what I had to do, once the price dropped yesterday lower, I need to go to daily, right? And I took this as a CLS range, right? Which makes sense because it's digging into the liquidity in here, right? Below that transition candle, right? In the 4 hours, below this one, right? So we can see that it was digging below it. Right now we are on the key level from the daily, right? This last down candle, and be watching, right? So what's going on? Again, we also can see here was also actually the CLS candle created, right? We can see this CLS candle into the daily order block, right? The next candle manipulating and is about probably to close inside, right? Let's drop to the M15, which is a correct time frame, and here is what we can see, right? So we can see that that 4 hour candle was easily manipulated in here, right? And price strongly rejected and moved back inside on the M15 time frame, right? So it has created the change in the order flow, right? I have added the position also in here. I will share the positions later, right? And we can see now we have a room to the 50% to the whole 4 hours range, right? And it will take us back inside to this Tuesday daily CLS range, right? And if we get back inside and into the 50%, and here it starts to consolidate, this is the weekly range, right? Which will be most likely supporting the price in here. And then we have perfectly entered the bottom and we can actually be riding this, right? To the 50%, right? Then maybe pullback and this. Right? That's what I think I could be playing on. Hello, Michael. Hello, Riyad. Good morning, Simon. Right? So I think this is what is happening right now, making sense for me. Obviously, still just a probability, right? Here is a USD CAD. We can see this one has dropped below that range, right? So again, what we always looking for, right? We always looking for a accumulation, right? Manipulation. That's where we want to position ourselves, right? Or lately, somewhere when the manipulation phase end up, and we want to participate in the distribution, right? So if we take all of these, right, and we place it in here, right? So that's what we are looking for in here, right? So in my opinion, if you put it into the context with the dollar index, that's what's probably going on, right? However, I would not be entering in here. I would might wait a little bit until the price touches at least somewhere around here, right? Because here we have the key level, and just because a dollar index and the other pairs are doing this reversal, it doesn't have to be a case on the cat yet, right? Because here's actually the thing I wanted to mention. The USD CAD and NSD USD and Aussie USD, that's a commodity currencies, and they moving a little bit differently, and they have also the smaller correlation with the dollar index, right? Why? Actually, what is the DXY? Right, look, here is a dollar index, and it's basically, here is the percentage of the currencies of the weight in the dollar index, right? So 57% is the euro, right? 13% Japanese yen, 11% pound, right? I'm not sure if this is actually right because that's from the chat GPT, and I'm not sure. I think that the pound has a little bit more, maybe, not sure, right? But anyway, look, we can see that the numbers might be a little bit off. I'm not sure. I need to recheck that also on some other websites, right? But still, look, 57% is a euro, so the correlation is the strongest with the dollar index, right? But the Canadian dollar, right, very small percentage, right? Also the Aussie and NZD, they're even not here, right? So um, just because a dollar index is doing something doesn't mean that the USD CAD will be doing that too, right? Immediately. Good morning, Tonero. Right, so these are a little bit going off, right? Here we have the euro, very strong correlation, right? Euro is also very strongly correlated with the pound, right? But you can see the pound has created new high while the euro is quite far from high, right? See, this is 250 pips, right? While this one is on the highs, right? So what does it mean? It could mean that if the dollar index, this what we're expecting, is going to hit, that means that the pound could have a very strong sell-off, right? Could have very strong sell-off. Good morning, Bill. Right, so that's what I'm looking for on these pairs. I'm entering right now in the positions, right? So we can be watching that. I think that's playing out right now. Here's also USD chef, right? You can see how all of these currencies are doing the same thing, right? Because we've been patiently waiting. Not all of us. I must say that I have also deployed one small position in here on the Monday, right? So that position is in the drawdown a little bit right now, and then adding more, right? So never going like a full lot on the first levels, right? But I was thinking like maybe it will not go there, but you can see right now we are here. Okay, so let's check on some crypto pairs, right? So this is a USDT dominance. We can see it's still kind of somehow ranging. I was thinking that it needs to dip into here, right, to give me that pullback on the Bitcoin, right, for the continuation. However, maybe it's not gonna happen, right? Maybe it's going to just a little bit consolidate in here and break down, right? So what does it mean for the Bitcoin? It means that the Bitcoin, if that happens, that the Bitcoin is not going to give me this pullback, right, and continuation. That would mean that the Bitcoin will simply go up like here, right? Which is shame that I would not get a trade on some of my crypto prop firms accounts and also on some leverage trades, but it's still good because we're holding spot, right? So it's always good when the Bitcoin is going up, right? SUI, right? Altcoin not doing pretty much right now. Also, the SUI is going to have some unlock, right? What means unlocks? There is some market capitalization, right? And a big part of those coins who've been created are held by uh, this the creators, right? And so they basically they don't dump it everything to us, right? When we're buying, they have like a unlocks. So there is a periods when they can sell some part of it, right? And there's gonna be unlock soon, I think this week. So that's might could give this drop down, right? Here is the Solana, right? Again, it's here still in the range. We're not trading in here, right? We want to see this pullback down, right? We will be interested in here, right? Obviously, if that's not gonna happen, it's not a problem, right? Because what? We have our bias. We know that it's most likely going up into these highs, right? And if we don't get this pullback and the entry in here, then maybe again there can be created some expansion, then range, right? And then we're gonna get some pullback, right? That is mostly what I'm seeing right now. I cannot say that like 100%, right? But the mostly in the whole range expansion, there is at least 2 or 3 possibilities for a trade, right? Obviously, once you master patience and enter in here, and you will be holding all of this on the weekly and monthly ranges, then you are master, right? Okay, here is a Doge, right? Nothing much happening, right? The whole story on the crypto is still around a Bitcoin, right? That's here's the Ethereum, right? Also nothing, right? Like, you know, you can of course enter here and, you know, it can work. But if you do that on the spot, right, and you don't mind that this is going to happen, and then maybe you buy more here, right, that's not a problem. I'm still doing that with the Bitcoin. I've been buying Bitcoin since 3K. I've been buying on the 69K, and I have bought many times already above a 100K, right? Because long term expecting it long term to go up, right? Here is our, this one actually uh, made new highs, right, in compare with the others, but still, right, not looking to enter in here, right? Maybe if I go lower time frame, right, um, if I go lower time frame because the candles are closing like that, right, then maybe something like that, but still nothing, right? H bar, right, also consolidating in here, right, maybe creating that consolidation, right? We can see it dipped a little bit, but I think it's not enough, right? So maybe creating this consolidation, and we waiting for our moment, right, for the pullback, for the move higher. So that's these pairs. Here is a gold, right? So what to say about the gold? Gold has dropped lower. We have shown something in here or some examples, right? And we had actually this beautiful daily range in here. Create that, right? Digging into the transition candle, then next candle dipped below it, right? Closed inside. Then you could trade higher, right? On the lower time frame, there was an entry, and I think the Adrian has nailed it, and he entered somewhere around here, right? So we have the move higher, right? Price didn't reach the top, but it reached above a 50%, right? So then what you could do, right? Model number one, to be clear and exact, model number one would give you not very nice entry side, but you would have to do that in here, right? It depends if you're brave enough to enter here, right, just by closing above the one candle, right, on the 1 hour. Maybe if you went a lower time frame, it was clearer, right? Yeah, on the M15 it was much clearer entry in here, right? So you would do that. You've been able to target a 50% rise, so something like this was possible. I think that Adrian had a trade like this, right? Maybe he held us all the way up, I don't know. And then you're looking for a model number two, right? You have 61.8, and you have also the edge of this range, right? So there was a possibility for the re-entry, right, with the stop below here, like that. It would not, it would give almost 1 to 2 RR, right? So it's going up right now in here, and we need to look where we are, in the terms of this downswing, right? So let's go back to daily, right? And what I see is that basically we can see that these lows, right, have been broken, and that move probably has started in here, right, in this up candle, but it didn't take any liquidity in here. What day it is? It's a Friday, right? It didn't take any liquidity in here, so we need to count this as a level, right? So most likely the price could go still higher, right? But at this stage, you don't want to be entering, right? If you didn't enter uh, in here on this dip below, right, with some tight stop for this push, you're getting into the levels where you have resistance, right? Where you have this run above these highs, right? So you have the run above these highs, and that's from here you might could get some pullback. But I do think that the gold could go lower, right? Because you can see in here the high was created, right? That high was retested, right, and price went lower down, right? Now we are reaching again the zone. We should not go probably higher above this, right? But we are reaching again the zone where some order block could be found, and from where the price could go lower again, right? Why I think the gold will go probably lower and don't do this, right? We can just check a, we can just check, what is it? Here, we can just check a COT data, right? I hope that it's not gonna ask me for email. Yes, it's asking me for the email, obviously. Okay, so because I'm using the different IP in here. Where was my the COT data for the gold? Did I share it somewhere? I probably didn't. Okay, so give me a second. Right, so this is how actually this works. So we need to receive a new email. Yes, I'm receiving new email here. Inbox, if Alexandra here. Right, and let's look gold. Right, so we can see that the longs positions, right, which has been 356k back in the February, right, has been dropping for the 3 months to the 238k, right? 13 weeks average is 287, so we are way below a average with the positions, right? Now the shorts, right? Not growing rapidly, but the net positions are very much dropping. Look how they dropped from the 300k to the 168, right? This is just a data, but now we need to find out when this has happened, right? Look at the gold. So it's from the February. It was here, right? So from the February until now, they closed almost half of the positions from the 356k net longs to the 238, right? So in the net positions, it's a half down, right? So all this move since the February, all this move up, they've been closing positions, right? They have not been adding, right? So what I do think is gonna happen is, yes, we are now reacting on this level because it's obviously is going to give you a reaction in here, right? However, I think that they will be rebuilding positions maybe little bit lower, right? Maybe somewhere in here. I think we will see a dip a little bit lower, right? What's gonna Fibo tell us, right? I think that the Fib is not, it was 6.8, maybe, yeah, but you know, I'm seeing a lot of profit taking in here and really not adding too much positions, right? So I do think that the gold still could maybe drop lower. But as I said already many times, I'm not too much interested in trading this one, right? So let's look how the euro is developing, what's going on in here, right? Staying a bit around this. Good morning, winner. Gold model 2 was perfect too, yes. See, Adrian is already very good, but he's been good already before. All right, my friends. So, right, so we have the consolidation in here, drop lower, rejection, right? It's all happening in the right context of the market, in the right time. I think the dollar will be bullish from here, from today, right? Obviously, I can be completely wrong. That's always possibility. So the risk management is our safety net if anything happens, right? Don't never ever do hello Aslak, my friend. Never ever gamble big positions because I'm saying something, right? That's a huge mistake because many people sometimes see that I have some good accuracy, I have some good traits, right? And then they think they okay, so this one is gonna work. And as a Murphy laws, you know, that time when you enter the big position, it's not gonna work, right? So simply all looks good to me, right? It's at 10 o'clock. So remember, where is that? Where is this my thing? Right, so let's see if this is going to be enough in here. We will see. So anyone dxy to the moon? Yes, my friend. So if anyone has some more questions, you can ask now. But I don't think I'm going to stay here on the stream to. So we are looking at us. We are looking the chance, right, together. That's not the point of the training. You can see I'm actually not spending too much time with the trading. Trying to do it every day at the same time, which is this time for me. And then I'm also watching it at the New York session, right? But mostly what how it can play for me is that I basically come to the charts and I see, right? I'm putting the the pieces of the puzzle together, right? Like for example, in here on Monday, right? I have seen that the price started to drop, so I knew like, okay, so Monday is maybe not a day, right? We need to wait to the Tuesday, right? And then it's done for me that day, right? It's not point and the reason to sit on the charts and baby watch it if you maybe catch some trades, right? Obviously, I could be thinking in the way when I saw that the Monday started to drop lower, I could be like trying to trade that manipulation down, right? But it's again that you know I'm not saying that if I do not want to. Are you in the EU? Yes, I'm in the Euro USD short, right? But it's not the point to try to catch every move, right? The point and the reason why we started the trading is we didn't want to become nerds who will be sitting behind computers all the time, right? I can tell you I've been sitting behind the computer almost 10 years since I started trading, and um, it has cost me a lot, right? I had unreal pain in my hand, like this carpal things right on the back, right? Also, I get a little bit fat or out of the shapes, right? And after when I realized it, I started to work out on myself a little bit more, right? Focus more on the health and trying to reduce the screen time, right? So now knowing exactly what I'm looking for, and that's what I'm doing, right? Not want to spend with the charts and the computer more than 2 3 hours a day, right? You can see we started 30 minutes ago. The updating these ranges and drawing the levels doesn't take me more than 30 minutes, right? And I'm doing it right now, expecting some outcome, right? And simply right now I'm in the positions, I have the stop losses, I have the targets, right? Everything is with the risk management in a such way that if everything goes wrong, it will not destroy me, right? Obviously, I will be honest, right? There is always emotions, and I will be pissed off a little bit that it didn't work, but I did everything I could control, right? Like following the system, entering at the key level, right? maybe I didn't have to open a small positions in here, right? Yes, on the Monday, right? I could wait until here, right? That would be even more better, right? So, yeah. Also, look, this is the thing which kind of helps us a little bit also, right? Look what's happening in here, right? That's what people will be selling. And it has played yesterday evening, European evening, right? So it was like end of the, also end of the New York session and end of the day in the Europe, right? So the traders may be entering the shorts in here, right? But they are entering into the order block. Here we have the order block. We have the candles, the daily candle which has took the lows in here, right? You can see this low was created on the Tuesday, so below a Monday range, right? Now it might be a Wednesday, right? We will see. We will see. So, yeah, right. Maybe I could open some small position on the USD chef also, right? But don't want to overexposure myself too much, right? Because if you're trading the major pairs, you basically trading dollar, right? So uh, I'm in the dollar long, US Euro USD short, right? USD JPY long, right? So what I'm speculating right now, I'm speculating that the dollar will be stronger than these other currencies, right? Um, but okay, hammer you around here. Yeah, we will see. Right, so what I'm actually speculating is that the dollar will be strong, right, in here, and the others will be weak. If I add another trade in here, I will be overexposing myself, right? Because if something happens, if the Trump says something or something like that, right, the dollar could weaken, right? Or at least create some bigger manipulation, right? And by entering another trade in here, I will be overexposing myself into the positions against the with the dollar, right? So if you don't need to do that, right? Then obviously, if you're trading some cross pairs, which I've been avoiding recently, because I didn't see some nice price actions, right? Then obviously you can trade, right? Adrian, I think, is trading a lot of cross pairs, right? But I recently didn't see too much, nice price action on some cross pairs. So let's check. We can actually check some. What I'm doing, if I'm looking for some to trade some pairs, right? I'm always using these stocks, right? So let's check. Let's say if anyone has some good cross pair which looks interesting, let me know. We can look at it. Let's put Aussie JPY, GBP Aussie, I don't want to get JPY, right? Yeah, GBP NZD, and okay, we will look at them. GBP NZD, Euro NZD, right? NZD JPY. Right, so let's just look quickly through the pairs, right? So what I'm always doing is I come to the chart like this, I put it on the weekly, right, and I look at this, right, and this is something exactly what I don't like to trade, right? Is it buffering, stuffering? What do you mean buffering, stuffering, my friend, or anything else? Right, uh, this is I really did, for a first look, it's not clear. Smooth as butter. Smooth as butter, yeah. So for in here, right, really don't see anything I would like to trade, right? It's look, right, you know, I mean, you have the range, it takes low, then it takes highs in here, right? It's not a really clear trend in here, right? Then you look Euro JPY, right? This one might looks a little bit better. What I'm seeing in here is this monthly range, right? And we can see that this high was taken. We potentially could go lower. I need to find some key level in here, right? So now let's go to weekly, right? And let's try to dissect in here, right? So could we go lower? Potentially, yes, right? Is there a key level? Could be this one, right? Been tested, right? Let's go daily, right? It also starts to go, looks quite good, right? But look what is here. Too much this price action, right? It's not clear, so I would not trade this one. This Aussie JPY, right? Let's look on the weekly. This is a little bit better price action, right? On the monthly, we have the candle close below this one, right? So what's the expectations? Expectations are drop here, right? Also, we can see we have quite two equal lows, right? And the key level below it is here, right? So this looks quite nice to me, right? Now we have this monthly range, right? High was taken. Let me zoom a bit, right? High was taken. What's going on? Right? We have this gap in here, which could be acting as a level, right? Let's go lower time frame. Right, so this looks potentially good, right, to me. Again, if you look here, we had this drop, right? So price basically closed below this in here, right? Let's go 4 hours so we have it a little bit more clear, right? That would be maybe this level, right? But now what I'm seeing here, this is Monday candle, right? So look, here was a Monday range, right? So potential trade in here, right? At this moment, not interesting, right? US oil analysis, right? US oil, we can look. I'm just going through the pairs to find if I find something else. Right? Yes, GBP Aussie, GBP will be most likely stronger, right? So again, we can see in here, this candle is closing above this one, right? So where's the liquidity? On the top, right? So most likely price will go higher, right? On the weekly, we have seen this drop lower, right? This looks good, right? So we have this weekly range. Here was this expansion. We can find a key level in here for this expansion, right? Let's go lower time frame, right? What we have find in here, right? So we can see now we can make it a little bit more uh, like to exact, right? So we can see like that. You can see 50% was reached in here, right? So now you can be looking for the model number 2, right? This trade would make sense to me, right? But again, it's not a reason to be forcing the stuff, right? And that's how I go through the pairs, right? This is ugly to me, right? Not sure if I would want to trade this. Most likely price going lower here, right? To these lows, right? On the monthly, we can see these two ranges, highs has been taken, right? price is now back inside the range, right? It's reaching this 50%, right? So this could be a setup, right? This is how easily you find model 2, right? Most likely, yes, right? Good morning, Perry. Let's look to the US oil. Yeah, so on the first look, I do think that the price will reach this low, right? Why? Because based on the candle closing, right? So we had this candle, right? Then the candle closed below it, right? Let's see if we are in some key level, right? And on the monthly, the key levels would be a little bit lower. Let's go weekly. Yeah, that would be at least in here, right? Because from these levels, it is where we broke from for this, right? It went from here through this high and this high, right? So that's where the price most likely could go, right? So now we have a what? We have our direction. You know the price could reach this level, right? Uh, so it's an inside candle right now, and now we need to find some nice range, right, which could be taken, which is not clearly forming in here, right? Monthly, maybe it would play some kind of, right, it will depends how this month will end, will close, right? If it will close like this, then the manipulation above that, right, and trade lower would be something what makes sense to me, right? But at this stage, um, on the lower time frames, right, not seeing a trade, right? So what I'm actually, how I would say that, right? Uh, my advice would be a lot of people trying to stick to the some pairs, like let's say I want to trade gold, I want to trade oil, I want to trade this, right? But sometimes the charts are simply not a clear, right? Obviously, if I look at this a little bit more into the deeper, I would probably find some reasoning, some story behind that, right? But it's not something what makes sense to me right now, so not sticking to it, right? Currently, I understand the story, I understand the narrative and everything behind this, right? Behind the dollar, uh, the euro, USD, JPY, right? These three is what which I understand right now, so that's why I'm training them, right? Maybe in the few months I will I will not be trading euro, right? And I will be focusing on some other pairs because they will be the price action will be more clear and making a more sense, right? We will see. All right, my friends. So I would end up I would end it up in here. Um, hope hope it's helping, and I'll see you tomorrow, right? So we will see how it's gonna develop. We are in the positions, and I do think that it can start to reverse slowly today, right? Look, the dollar, what's doing this dollar, right? This doesn't seem to me like we will go down, right? Because we have reached that level, which is in the right, right context of the market, doing the right things in the right time, right? So, in my opinion, that's when we catching the right. Look, USD JPY, right? We are catching the right moment, which we've been waiting for, right? And This is what's the most important for going along on the UJ, right? Amazing, Ahmed, right? So that's what is, in my opinion, what makes you powerful in a trading, that you basically have some narrative, you have idea where the price most likely is going, but you don't do the mistakes in here, and you wait for this, for your sniper shot, right? For your sniper entry, and then again you waiting in here, right? So we will see how it goes. I think it has quite high probability, and I wish you